Carol, then I'll go home.
Oh, that's really cool.
As opposed to,
The other way around.
Ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
really cool.
And then her uncle is Abraham ben Terah.
No way.
Yeah. You? Bathroom and then let's do this.
What kind did you get? You know?
I have no idea. My mother looked everyone the reviews for the film.
Test.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Good evening. Welcome to Congregation Dor Tamid in our Friday evening Kabbalat Shabbat worship service. It is a pleasure to see all of you here this evening, joining us as we welcome in Shabbat. As we come together this evening for a variety of reasons, to welcome Shabbat, to be together as a community, to celebrate simchas, to pray for those who are ill, and to comfort those who are in a time of mourning. We are all here as one community. And so we open up with the words that come to us from the book of Psalms that say how beautiful it is that all of us, brothers and sisters, can be together, sitting together in unity. And as we turn to page 128 to find those words, I'm going to ask that everyone please take a moment to turn off your cell phones or electronic devices and put them away, and also to ensure that your masks are on properly as we sing together.
Hine ma tovu manayim sheverachim gam yachad. 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 Hine ma tovu manayim sheverachim gam yachad.
As I mentioned a moment ago, some of us are here celebrating a simcha, a joyous life cycle occasion this weekend, because tomorrow morning, during our Shabbat morning worship service, we will celebrate the bat mitzvah of Eliana Reisman, as she will lead us in prayer and teach us from the Torah, from its ancient wisdom. But to start this Shabbat, we will invite Eliana to come forward along with her family so that they can kindle our Sabbath lights, welcoming in this day of rest on page 120. You got to find the right spot.
You have to be a rabbi to make this work. Just whoa, no. Oh.
Yeah, you got to go a little faster.
And now we sing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Page 125. Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat, abide. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time. Contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat, abide. We turn to page 130 for our service of Kabbalat Shabbat, our service for the welcoming of Shabbat. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, Nariya letzur yishenu, Nekad mafanav betoda, Bizmirot Nariya lo. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai. Raise a shout for our rock and deliverer. Let us come into God's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for God in song. For Adonai is a great God, the great ruler of all divine beings.
Shiru Adonai Kol Haaretz. Shiru Adonai Shir Chadash. Shiru Adonai Kol Haaretz. Shiru Adonai Shir Chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai Kol Haaretz. Shiru Adonai Shir Chadash.
Page 136, we read together Psalm 29. A psalm of David. Ascribe to Adonai, O divine beings. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name. Bow down to Adonai, majestic in holiness. The voice of Adonai is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. Adonai over the mighty waters. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. God makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Syrian like a young wild ox. The voice of Adonai kindles flames of fire. The voice of Adonai convulses the wilderness. Adonai convulses the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of Adonai causes hinds to calf and strips forest bare. While in God's temple all say glory. Adonai sat enthroned at the flood. Adonai sits enthroned, sovereign forever. May Adonai grant strength to God's people. May Adonai bestow on God's people well-being. We turn now to page 138 as we welcome in the Sabbath bride with the singing of Lecha Dodi. Tonight we will sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And for the 9th and final verse, we rise and face the door of the sanctuary, hoping to catch a glimpse of the Sabbath bride as she enters our presence.
Yalla la 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 Lecha Dodi. Yalla la 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 Lecha Kala. Yalla la 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 B'nai Shabbat. B'nai Shabbat Nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'hor b'diborecha. Ishmianu el hamyuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad L'shemo tiferet V'li'itila Yalla lai lekadodi. Yalla lai lekakala. Yalla lai b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor habracha merosh mikedem netzucha sof ma'aseh b'mashava techila. Yalla lai lekadodi. Yalla lai likakala. Yalla lai b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Idoreri. Vaore kumi ori shedaberi kivod Adonai alayek nigla. Yalla lai lekadodi. Yalla lai lekakala. Yalla lai b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala. Gam besimcha ובצוחלה תוך אמוני הסגולה בואי קלה יאללה לי לקדודי יאללה לי לקקלה Yalla lai b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Please be seated as we continue with Psalm 92 on page 140. Mizmor shir liyom HaShabbat, tov leodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, lagid baboker chastecha ve'emunatcha balelot. A psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. With a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together, you've gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai! How very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. Together, the righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no wrong. We turn now in our prayer books to page 144 to transition now into our Mariv service with the Shema and its blessings. And to lead us in the Chatzi Kaddish, I would like to invite forward our Bat Mitzvah, Eliana Reisman.
Yitgadal v'yitgada shemei rabba.
Amen.
Ve'alma divra hirtei v'yanlich malchutei.
V'chaye
V'chayechon v'yomechon. U'chaye kol beit Yisrael. Bagala uvizman kari. V'meru amen.
Yehesh
Rabba Mevora, Le'ol Olam Le'ol Maya, Yitbarach, Vayishtaba, Yitpa'ar, V'Raman, V'Yitnaseh, V'Yitadar, V'Yitalel, V'Yitalal, Shemei Kudashah Berihu, Le'olam Min Kol Bircha V'Shirata, Tushbecha Tavinehemata,
Na'amiran be'alma, v'yimeru, amen. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Barechu et Adonai Amvorach. Baruch Adonai Amorach Le'olam Va'ed Le'olam Va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared?
Please be seated as we continue on page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Ahavat olam et Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shofenu, Kumenu na'asiach b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toracha, U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, Be'orech yameinu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, Nege yomam v'layla. Shabbat Chal Mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Mamo Yisrael. Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ata et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher nochi mitzavecha hayo al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam בשבתך, בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We turn now to page 157 as we continue responsively in the middle of the page. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Mi kamocha ba'ezim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi kamocha ba'ezim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Torah. Ose Torah, Ose Adonai Imlo Leolam Vaed. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael.
We turn now to page 160 as we ask God these words to watch over us tonight as we lie down, to grant us a shelter of peace, a Shabbat Shalom over ourselves, our loved ones, our friends, our family, our community, and over all creation.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ve'amidenu shomrenu l'chayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Amidenu shomrenu l'chayim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ve'amidenu shomrenu l'chayim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Amidenu Shomrenu Lechai
We turn now in our prayer books to page 162 as we sing together these words from Torah, words that remind us as we sing them each week that as we keep this day of rest, as we keep Shabbat, it will in truth keep us as well and renew our souls.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת בדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
So watching for 4 verses to try and get Jeff to do the spin, and he finally did it. So nice job, Eliana. Got your dad up and spinning around. We turn now in our prayer books as we all rise on page 164 for the tefillah.
Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai, la la lai lai lai. Adonai sifatai titach, ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Anora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim ve'Koneh HaKol, Bezocher chasdei avot ve'imahot, umevii gula libnei v'neihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol atah rab le'hoshia, morid Gashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somek noflim berofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayim emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al givurot, umido melach, Melech memit u'mechaye u'matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata le'achayot ha'kol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye ha'kol Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kdoshim b'chol yom ye'alalu chasela Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Ose Shalom B'Roma. Ose Shalom B'Roma. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. Be Roma. Oh, say shalom. Be Roma. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
This week in our Torah in Parshat Lech Lecha, we are introduced to one of the central figures, or really two of the central figures in the history of the Jewish people, Avram and Sarai, who will later be known as Abraham and Sarah. And the Torah portion, which we will read tomorrow morning, which specifically Eliana will read tomorrow morning, begins with the words, Vayomer Adonai el Avram, Lech lecha me'artzecha u'mimoladecha, u'mibeit avicha el haaretz asher areka. God said to Abram, go forth from your land, from the place of your birth, from the house of your father, to a land that I will show you. And there I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, and bless those that bless you, and curse those who curse you, and you shall be a blessing. Abraham is told to leave that which he knows, to leave his father's house, to leave his birthplace, to leave his friends and his family, and to go forth to the unknown, to chart a new path, to start a new world. But the rabbis asked the question, why him? Why Abraham? Why this person? Just 10 generations before, in last week's Torah portion, we are told of Noah, who built the ark, who took the animals, who saved creation, because he was ish tzaddik b'dor Tamid, he was righteous of his generation. But he's not the one chosen to change the world. Abraham is. So the rabbis give their reason in a story. In Breshit Rabbah, in the Midrash on the book of Genesis, we read the story of Abraham's childhood, not in his time working in his father's shop. The Midrash tells us that Terach, his father, was an idolater. Not only was he a worshiper of idols, he was a purveyor of idols. He sold idols to his community. The Midrash tells us that one day Terach had to run some type of errand, and he asked Abram, his son, to watch the shop. And Abram said, fine, I'll watch it for you, father. And sitting there in the shop, looking at the different idols, large and small, made of stone, wood, rocks, and mud, he started wondering, what are these really? Is this the God of the sun? Is this the God of the moon, the God of the waters, the God of the air, the God of the wind? So we started talking to them. He started praying to them. He started asking them for things. And there was silence. So like any teenager, Abraham, when he didn't get the answer he wanted, got angry. And he found a stick and he started hitting the idols with the stick, destroying each and every one, save for the largest. And when he was finished destroying all but the one idol, he took the stick and placed it in the hands of the large idol. And he waited until his father returned. Upon returning to the store, Terach was furious, turning to Abram, asking, "What have you done?" Abram said, "It wasn't me. It was him. He got mad at the other idols and destroyed each of his brothers and sisters." And Terach asked Abram, "Are you serious? Are you kidding me? He's just stone. He can't do that." And Abram asked, "Then why do we treat him like a god?" And in questioning the paradigm of his world, Abram showed himself to be that person that God was then to choose to say, "Lech lecha, go forth, change the world with me." But as we get to Lech lecha each year, as we are reminded of this call to Abram to go forth to a land that God will show us, we are each called as well. God says to each one of us, "Lech lecha, go forth. Lechi lach, go to that place." And it may not be a physical transformation, but God is calling to each one of us on this Shabbat each and every year to make a spiritual journey, a journey to be that blessing. But the way to the blessing is found in the text. "I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you." As we interact with those around us, as we become a blessing to each other through our good words, our good actions, for our love and care for one another, for following the words of Torah that say, "V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha," you shall love your neighbor as yourself, we truly can receive that blessing from God to become a blessing, each one of us. Amen. We pause in our service with our hearts opened by words of Torah to think of those members of our community who are ill. Some are in the hospital, some are at home recovering, some have diseases and illnesses from which they may never recover. This week, we think especially of Richard Zuspin, Lee Silverstein, Jill Vantine, Eleanor Goodman, Charles Goodman, Yuli Makovich, Libby Routman, Laurel Phoenix, Marjorie Whitmore, Jerry Phillips, Claire Levin, Paul Kershon, Reva Fisher, Chandler Jacobs, Aaron Withers, Brianna Jacobs, Leslie Knight, Bert Singerman, Stephen Schiff, Mateo Velazquez, Dr. David Mazel, Janelle Siegel, Rachel Davis, Max Jacobs, Kathy Waldner, Susan Abrams, Jerry Jacobs, Christopher Denton, Barney Greenberg, Jerry Gimple, Phyllis Lapin, Vivian Perini, Libby Katz, Betty Olson, and Miriam Belus. If you are thinking of someone who is in need of a prayer of healing, I invite you to share their name with the community as my eyes meet yours. Thank you. We think of all of them and we ask for God's healing presence to be with each and every one of them. We also ask for God's healing presence to be with all of those currently affected by COVID-19, all of the victims of violence, hatred around the world, and those who have diseases and illnesses of body, spirit, and soul. We also ask for God to be with those who care for the sick each day. May they be blessed with compassion, love, support, hope. So we ask for God's healing presence to be with all of us. So we turn to page 371 and sing together this prayer of healing.
Mishabera Avotenu Mekor Abracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishepera imotenu mekor abracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, a renewal of body, a renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We turn now in our prayer books to page 586 at the top of the page and rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shehu notesh shamayim v'yosed haaretz, umoshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, ushchinatu zo begovei meromim, hu Eloheinu einod, vanahachnu koreim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'nemar v'yadonai, L'melech al kol haaretz, Mayom ahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad.
Please be seated. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. When you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. At this sacred moment of our Shabbat evening worship, we think longingly and lovingly of those taken from us both recently and at this season in years past. We are in a period of Shiva, the first 7 days since their funeral, of Richard Olson. And we are in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days since their funeral, of Barbara Kirshner and Sharon Arnett. We mark the yahrzeit, the anniversary of their passing on this Shabbat, of Beatrice Kovar, Conrad Olson, Marilyn Matzel, Ida Flestrager, Bessie Goldstein France, Dean Walensky, Jack Dovberg, Stanley Bauer, Carol Clafter, Florence Shatner Abramson, Gertrude Slovin, Eileen Jurist, Sylvia Crichton Roebuck. We also remember Anne Perlman, the sister of Herschel Greenblatt, who passed away this week and whose funeral, though not scheduled as of yet, will be in the coming days. If you are remembering someone on this Shabbat, I invite you to share their name, their memory with the community as my eyes meet yours. Zichronam livracha. May their memories continue and always be a blessing as we take their memories into our hearts, along with the millions of our people who have no one to say Kaddish for them, and all of those who have died as a result of the pandemic. We link their names and their memories with the Shmei Rabbah, the great, holy, and awesome name of God. We praise now with the words of the mourner's Kaddish, rising as one community, as we turn to page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlik malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam l'amei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'itadar v'itale v'talal shmei d'kudsha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Da'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all the bereaved here and everywhere with the blessing of peace. Together we all say, please be seated.
Oseh shalom b'imromav yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos.
It was a pleasure being with you tonight as we welcomed in this Shabbat, as we celebrated this Kabbalat Shabbat together. Just a few brief announcements before Kiddush and Motzi and our closing song and benediction. Tomorrow morning, as I mentioned earlier, we will gather together at 10:30 a.m. to celebrate not only Shabbat morning, but also the Bat Mitzvah of Eliana Reisman. So we hope you will join us tomorrow morning for our Shabbat morning worship service, either here in the sanctuary or virtually on Facebook, our website, YouTube, or through Zoom. On Sunday morning, religious school will meet. Our younger students will meet at their normal time at 9 o'clock, and our 5th through 10th graders during their religious school time will be participating as part of our CARES Day. Everyone is welcome to join CDT CARES Day from 12 to 2 this Sunday here at the synagogue. There's a lot of different opportunities to do mitzvot this Sunday afternoon, so we hope you will join us for that. C. Diddy, our senior youth group, and along with J. Diddy, our junior youth group, will be having a movie night outside on the patio this Sunday evening. And then on Monday at 10 a.m., Hebrew with Molly continues. And at 7:30, our sisterhood board meeting will meet. Wednesday, we will continue here in the social hall with our Torah study. We are midway through the book of Deuteronomy. We always have great discussions, and I hope you will join us as we continue studying Torah together. Our knitting and crochet group will meet first on Sunday, right, as part of CARES Day, and then on Thursday on Zoom as they do each week. And this Thursday evening, you're invited to join us for an adult education opportunity, Jewish Views on Death and Dying. I will be joined in a panel discussion with Jackie Berger, a member of our congregation who is an estate planning attorney, and Eddie Dressler, the owner and operator of Dressler's Jewish Funeral Home, for a conversation on end-of-life issues, and there will be plenty of time for Q&A as well. Please join us for a really important conversation this Thursday evening. If you are going to be joining us, just let the office know so we can make sure to print enough materials for everyone who will be here. Friday night next week, we will be back for our Friday evening Kabbalat Shabbat service, and then next Saturday, we will celebrate the bat mitzvah during our Shabbat morning worship of Sadie Harris. Each week, we've been thanking members of our community for what they've done to help us out in a variety of different ways. And this week, ahead of the CARES Day, we want to thank Kathleen and Rob Sable for the beautiful new sign in our garden, which we will dedicate this Sunday morning. Being that it is the third Shabbat of October, it is also anniversary Shabbat. So if you do have an October anniversary, I'm going to ask you to please rise. So we have one. So I'm going to ask you to, as I come by, introduce yourself and how many years. You're it. Just
Andrew Reisman, 27 years.
Mazel tov.
Seven tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, seven tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, seven tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, seven tov. Yehelanu.
Following the service, you're all invited to join us outside on the front patio for an Oneg Shabbat. But before that, we need to say a kiddush and a motzi and a closing benediction. So Eliana, I'm going to invite you to come forward for kiddush as we all turn to page 123, and I'm going to invite everyone to please rise.
You could leave your prayer books because you're going to be holding the kiddush cup. You can uncover it. You can uncover it. You can uncover it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri agaped. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'yava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tzion mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'yava u'b'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat L'chaim.
Chaim. Eliana, we're going to ask you to uncover the challah. We sing together.
And unwrap the
You can
challah too.
unwrap it as
Just
well.
pull it right out of there. It's okay. A special,
COVID safe.
very safe challah. Motzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. You have to have a piece.
As she's eating the first piece of challah on behalf of all of us, we turn to our closing benediction, which comes to us from the words of this week's Torah portion. Page 645, we sing this blessing together. Lechilach.
Lechilach, to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to the place you do not know. Lechilach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechilach. Lechilach, and I shall make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. Lechilach, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, lechilach. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechila.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.